tournaments. I think possibly in a major. I'm not 100% certain, but Saphir obviously on the Ogrim. We expect no less. We've just seen. I mean, we've seen Saphir come in here and destroy arguably the best, if not the best, Terrors in Europe, unless Godly is playing Terrors for whatever reason, because that man cannot pick one legend to main. That being a 3-1
people like Godly are just flexing, like, hey man, I'm so good, I don't need a single character to win, I can win on many different characters.
He locked in...
No, listen, he's literally playing the Iron Man challenge in tourney.
I mean, he locked in Terrors against Kaina at BCX as like a desperation pick, and it almost worked, so I think that man just...
When is Terrors a bad play? Look at Bamya.
I mean, especially in this meta. If it has Axe, when is it a bad play?
True. I mean, Hammer is also one of those weapons. It has been on the come up, even though it hasn't had a lot of changes in the previous patches. Oh, Bamya had a confirm there of the D-Light, but didn't go for it.
Yeah, Hammer's definitely power crept its way up, because it got gutted so long ago, and it's been receiving these slow buffs, but even then it hasn't been buffed too recently. It's just that a lot of the weapons that Hammer struggles against have been receiving nerfs in response, and so Hammer has been creeping its way back up into relevance to a point where you're seeing it a fair bit in 1v1s, not to the point where it's sort of like meta-defining or absolutely broken like Battle Boots and Greatsword War and Release or anything close to that. But still, it's back to being a viable weapon, which I personally am so happy to see. It's such an entertaining weapon to watch and to cast. And so far, both of these players...
I think it's a really healthy weapon for the game too. Like, when are you ever mad at getting KO'd by Hammer unless you're just like a gold or a platinum getting gamed by
unless it's a skill issue.
recovery, you know? I mean, yeah, if you get gamed by recovery, it's a skill issue, but Hammer is... This might be... I don't think it's a hot take, so I'm gonna say it anyway. It feels honest, because you know what you're getting hit by. Like, it's a really simple weapon, easy to learn, hard to master. And I think that's a really healthy way of designing and balancing.
Absolutely, but enough of the broadcast with Hackle and Blackout. Speaking of the game that's actually happening on screen, we do have Saphir again in the lead here. Let's get caught by the D-Light. Side air, but the recovery to turn around punish. The side sig off the side. Saphir actually maintaining a small lead here. Bamya going to pick up the Axe. That's definitely a weapon that can take these really early knockouts if positioned well, but at this level of play, these players know that he's going to be looking for that side air, and regardless, does manage to land its mark. Not quite going to be enough. Bamya slide charging that neutral heavy, looking for a sneaky upwards knockout there. And in response, Saphir's going to live even longer, stalling that recovery back to the wall, and the down air still going to be enough, regardless of that high defense of Olgrim. And now both players on their final stocks, and Bamya immediately opening up with his Axe, trying to equalize the damage, and he will do so successfully. Saphir just struggling to find a weapon here, does manage to grab the lance.
You know, I just realized it kind of feels nostalgic that we're seeing Devils versus Olgrim, because it has been like years or probably since we've been in this meta. And it's not even that the meta of heavy weapons is that dominating, it's just that the balance has been so well, it's basically that these guys are back into viability. So it's kind of interesting, because I'm getting like 2020 vibes of seeing two axes and a hammer in one's on screen.
I mean, we are also watching a European match.
It's also European, yeah, that's true.
Saphir take game one, almost 600 damage. We are seeing, one thing I will notice, despite how well Saphir is playing, is he is struggling a little bit with this efficiency. Struggling to find these knockouts as early as he can, but I mean, as long as he's finding them before his opponent, doesn't really matter too much. And Bamya opting to stick with the Roman Reigns Terrorist crossover, not going to be swapping off, going back to the exact same map, even the exact same game state. Both players confident that they can force the adaptation and force the tide of the game in their favor in order to take home this tournament.
Sidelight, but no follow-up on X. Goes for D-Light, that hasn't been in the game for a while. That's really unfortunate for Bamya. I'm wondering what is Bamya's mindset going into this, because they can afford to lose the first set and then get the grand final reset and still take it back. So maybe they're like, okay, let's try a different character, and if that doesn't work, I go my main in reset.
Yeah, you sort of have two very popular like ways that players approach grand finals on winner's side. You'll have like some players who will just pick something completely wild out of pocket to just sort of mess around with their opponent and just make use of that first set, almost expecting to lose, so they have that time to adapt to their opponent, learn what they do without having the stress of having to show their hand and play their main. And then you have the players who just go full locked in, full tilt from the very beginning, and there's sort of different trade-offs for that. I mean, if you're going to open up with a character that isn't your main, and you're giving away that first set, you're giving your opponent that momentum. Oh. Okay, so we can assume Saphir is a controller player, considering that was a misinput of an emote. And honestly, that was a really goofy emote for them to misinput as well. But regardless, Bamya is currently very minorly in the lead here. This movement and this spacing of Saphir is playing very well around these D-lights, but Bamya making use of that patience.
Goes for the dare. Doesn't quite catch it. Saphir still fighting back, even though they're unarmed. There's a weapon behind Bamya. But instead of going for it, they're trying to get Bamya out of the way first. Guess that lands. Follow up. Yeah, there's sidelight Sair.
Neutral there by Bamya. Not quite going to be enough. Both players one well-placed move away from finding the knockout here. D-Light Sair is definitely going to be what Bamya's looking for, but the neutral air as well is coming out quite often. Saphir going to be looking for these side airs, and that will do it. Saphir back in the lead, if only by a very small margin. One well-placed KO combo or KO move will be enough for Bamya here.
Oh, no dodge off stage. Saphir could have gotten something big there.
Playing a dangerous game!
Oh.
Neutral Light's gonna do it.
What I really like about Saphir's gameplay, like, start paying attention to this when Bamya has hammer in his hand. They're so well at staying in those diagonal and vertical dead zones of hammer, because you don't have an anti-air like XD, like Saphir just letting it rip. The gold upcutter. I don't know, I just made that up in my head. That's like the combo, because you're just jumping way too much.
Bamya can't move! Saphir just completely dominating all areas of the stage right now with this axe. Finds the down air.
Oh my.
GC sidelight towards the stage. One side air on this lance will be enough. The neutral light even will do it, and Saphir goes up 2-0 over Bamya in the first set of grand finals.
I didn't quite. The screen went so fast I didn't quite catch what they both locked in. I'm assuming Saphir is still on the Ogrim, and Bamya back to the Soul.
Bamya back on the Zol. That's interesting. Honestly, I don't blame him, because the amount of work, I mean, the amount of space control that Bamya exerted against Skeldra when we saw this Zol come in earlier was really impressive. He took so much control of the stage, and obviously going to be keeping that axe over from the terrorists on that high strength as well. But yeah, the cannon's going to be an interesting one to bring into this, because it introduces a string weapon that we haven't seen in this set so far. I mean, the most you had is having that lance in the hands of Saphir, but still, the way that Saphir is playing this lance is sort of going for these 2-hit combos and then not really extending unless he has something guaranteed. So,
yeah. He's playing it really safe, which you could say is kind of boring. I call it optimal, because you're not taking any damage as long as you're keeping it safe.
But yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about here with that cannon. It's going to introduce a different type of pacing to this set, where Bamya is going to be able to be really explosive with this cannon here. And immediately we're seeing it in his movement as he's dash dancing around so much, manages to find the D-Sig, shutting down Saphir with an almost 0 to death and a very dominant start to this game number 3.
This is just a different character, a different player, it feels like. I'm always baffled by, because I'm just a one-trick, by how players just swap up their playstyles depending on their character, because it's just a feeling that I'm not familiar with. Because I'm always like, I only know one character and I always stick to that character, and if that character doesn't work, I need to innovate that character. I need to adapt that character even more.
This axe mirror match, I mean, it's the same weapon we saw on the terrorists, but Bamya's playing it so differently, just in that changing in confidence, I think, that he's had swapping over onto this Zol. Does fall to the side air, but still has Saphir. I mean, that's KO range for Zol. Like, that's easily KO range for Zol. This character can just delete your stock with a well-placed combo or a well-placed signature here, and now 1 D-Light Nair for Bamya might actually be enough easily now with that down air disarming Saphir. The ground pound as well to give him the space. Will Saphir even find a hit? The neutral light will come through in the end light for Bamya to respond, going to take the control of the stage and just
I
playing
think
this
Saphir is
patient
playing
game.
scared.
I would be scared too. I would be scared too, honestly.
No, keep in mind how Saphir is playing against his axe as opposed to Bamya's cannon. Because now he's going in against that axe. He has no fear because it's a weapon that he... Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh
Saphir.
my. Okay, I think Bamya was sort of thinking like, oh, now I pull out the Zol for this final game and reverse 3-0 and it's going to be so heartbreaking. And Saphir just comes in with the lances. No, I'm getting this first. If anything, I'm getting this first set. I'm getting the bracket reset, whether you like it or not, Bamya. And so far, Bamya trying to reject that, but this axe finally finding some response to this cannon here.
Notice this. Bamya has cannon in his hand. Saphir is playing scared. Whenever he tries to get back from stage, like he's being edge guarded and he tries to get back. Like here, he's playing slow, much slower. Slowing down the base means he's just less erratic and has less things. He's putting out less things for Bamya to punish. He is respecting the cannon and its threat, and just the pressure that Bamya has onto him.
Yeah, I mean that's all going to depend on how Bamya can respond as the end light. Almost
Oh my
gonna
goodness.
be enough. Okay, that is
stacked.
I'm not going to comment on how fair that is and how healthy it is for the video game. It's fine. That happened. It happened, and we're going to see both players lock in the exact same character grading. But are we going to be going back to Demon Island, or is it going to be a map switch here as we are waiting for?
We have like... There's only like 4 maps, let's be real. We have Miami
That's
Dome,
true.
Demon Island, Fortress of Lions, and World End.
I'd say, yeah. I mean, if you have a map mod, then Bikini Bottom's also viable. if you want to be able to see on that map, you kind of might need a mod. But regardless,
Bikini Bottom has a color scheme. It's... No, I can't say that.
It's just too vibrant. It's just so vibrant, exactly. so difficult to see. But regardless, we are going back to this Demon Island, which is not vibrant. It's dark, it's bleak, and honestly, so are the color schemes of the characters we're watching. So it fits. It definitely fits. And right now, this is another skin change for the Lance by Saphir. I don't know if anyone at home watching has noticed, but Saphir is sticking with this black Ulgrim, but is changing the weapon skins consistently.
Oh,
is it really that deep? Oh, the snipe as well. Gonna be able to find that.
This would make for like a good quiz question, you know? Like, did you keep track at home of how many
weapon skins did Saphir
how many weapon skins did he pull out there extreme? Okay. Even in damage, but Saphir a full stock behind. X and light misses, gets that side light into Nair. Bamya is just sending it. GCD light. Oh, he wanted that so bad.
Bro, he is feeling it. He's absolutely feeling it. Finds the neutral
in the zone there. Bamya is just done. He wants his money. He wants his win. Go to bed after. Maybe play some more ranked.
Ooh, that's a nice grounded Nair pivot, but it's not. Dude, Bamya, please don't 3-stock my boy. He's worked so hard for this, man. Okay.
3-stock is out.
My question is, though, unless Saphir can take back this game, if he loses here, does he swap to the Asuri again?
I don't think he does. I think he has had too much success on the Ulgrim in this entire tournament. Because that one game on Asuri was the game against Kelrod that we do not talk about anymore. That was...
he won!
It felt like he did, but it felt like a fluke. Oh, Bamya. I think he's staying on the Ulgrim. There we go. Told you. Because here's the thing, that Azuri was a game where I think Scaldera just SD'd fully once, didn't count his options another time, so he basically gave away 2 free stocks. So I don't... So you could argue that that's a 100% win percentage on that Azuri from Bamya.
It's not a character swap. Do you know what it is? It's a color scheme swap.
Yo.
Okay, my question is, like, for people who have like a level 100 legend, is the aesthetic you're playing with really that important? Because Like,
Okay, let me answer this as someone that I mean I've level
one tricks
95.
Dusk.
One
You heard me.
getting outed. What the hell, man?
It's a simple yes
eh,
or no question, bro.
yes, but it's not about flexing how much you have. It's about this certain drip or this certain skin is mine. So in the same way that people think of Sandstorm when they see Venver Mordax, you know?
I guess. Either way, though, we are actually going to be seeing a map swap here, going to Fortress of Lions for this game number 5, and this is, I mean, this is do or lose.
Bamya has that dodge, but Saphir get that.
Yeah, if Saphir loses here, I mean, that's it. This is Saphir battling to try to find that grand finals reset, and if Bamya wins it, Bamya wins this one match, he wins the entire tournament. Everything is riding on this. If Saphir can win this, we're going to another game 5, and the mental fortitude required to go through that is something that a lot of players struggle to find with the side sig. And this is a change in pace what we've seen in these past 2 games. Both of these previous games that we've seen where Bamya's been on this Zol, Saphir was just getting absolutely beaten up on these first stocks, just getting obliterated and trying to crawl his way back throughout the rest of the game, and Bamya with a nice return on that down air. But still, even though Saphir will fall there, going all in was honestly the right decision. He was 1 hit away from losing that stock, and in response, he was gambling on either taking the stock or at least getting so much damage dealt in the process, and he did manage to put Bamya now into the red. Bamya,
this is Soul, though.
Will do it. The down air. Bamya's done.
Bamya still has 1 stock, but it's canon. If they get a few good reads,
a few, bro. 1.
Yeah, okay,
He's
1. one specific, very rare read. No dodge. Good punish by Bamya. Goes off stage, overextending.
This is dangerous. Goes for the ground pound, gets stage spiked, and that's gonna be it. Saphir manages to get the grand finals reset with a 2 stock, no less.
Listen. It's the color swap, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it was all the color swap, bro. Having that gala color scheme there instead of the black, that changed everything. I promise.
Yeah, listen. Listen, I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret tag at home. Depending on the color, you get 0.5 increase in a certain stat.
Shut up.
Don't take it seriously.
Stop spreading this information on stream.
I'm joking. But this is... I can't tell which of these players was so different. I can't tell if it was Bamya playing worse, Saphir playing better that game, or both. All I know is Saphir was balling.
I think it was both. I think it was Bamya was getting way too confident and overextending, and Saphir was responding in turn by pressuring those overextensions, especially with the Lance forcing Bamya out, and then Bamya was forced to play that. I mean, in a position where Bamya was supposed to be recovering, he was trying to get extra damage off onto Saphir and just losing stocks because of it.
Yeah, I think Bamya just really wanted to finish it. You saw how deep he went for those confirms or things that weren't even confirmed. It was like, hey, I'll be fine. And then he ended up getting 2 stocked, and now he has to play out the reset.
Yeah, no. The question is going to be whether Bamya can maintain the aggression that he had in those first 2 games where he was locking in the Sol. Oh, okay, there's no aggression here, bro. What was? Okay. Bamya, we'll finally
what is
find
the dodge?
a hit
Oh,
to
never mind.
break.
Bamya!
Oh, that could be the stock!
I'm done.
Okay, yeah, that's canon. That's real. That's in the game. It exists. At least Bamya did recognize the fact that he most likely wasn't going to be able to make it back there. He was already in the sweat beads and off screen, so even with the side airs that Cannon does offer...
Honestly, I think he would have made it back, because he still could have used his dodge.
He
was that high. Keep in mind, at the peak of that recovery, you're extremely high.
I don't feel like that's an accident, though. I do feel like Bamya thought that he wasn't able to make it back, because I think he would have known that recovery would have been enough to find the knockout and just went for the side air to reset and get back to stage as soon as possible without having to wait to see if he lived. But
yeah, I think
regardless,
that's right. When Bamya couldn't have made it back to stage, he could have made it back to wall, I think. But he would rather just reset entirely than get edge guarded at the wall and lose that
Ooh,
interaction.
that's the stock. Yeah, this is more in tune with what we saw in these first few games with Bamya locking in the Zol. The confidence just being exuded by that cannon and by the way he's spacing around Saphir here. Both players' axe now in hand. Tricky with the movement here, Bamya manages to catch it, and it's so crazy how the pacing shifts in between neutral and when one player gets an advantage. It almost like quarters in speed where they'll be dash dancing around just trying to position on each other, and then one person finds a hit, and because of the speed of axe, everything slows down as they try to just maximize that value.
Oh my days,
Oh, but the
Bamya.
dash jump, ground pound. We've seen that before by Bamya, but still, a
176
confident
by
two-stock.
Saphir.
Those are box BH numbers right there.
No! You can't do him like that in front of 300 people. Oh my. Poor
did
guy.
it. I did it. I did.
For context, for the people at home, Box is your homie. Absolutely love the guy. But thanks, Face. Love you. But, like, we do a lot of customs with him.
He's my boy.
But
He's my boy.
He's statistically just the worst player of our friend group. Like, he has the lowest PR, the lowest elo. So to just out him like that is vile.
I'm sorry.
Better apologize to him.
Anyways, guys, there's a tournament happening. Planning on opening up. Might just break the neutral with that axe and light Saphir. Gonna. Oh, okay. That's one thing which you expect to see a bit better from a level 100 player on a legend with axe. Is in that situation you go for D-light, because at that low damage at that position of the axe side light, you're not gonna be able to get neutral or true. So you go for the D-light because that's your true option there, and that's something that you see very experienced players on axe do. And it's sort of a tell on how much a player will favor that axe on their character. We have seen Saphir, at least outside of the matchup with Bamya, has been playing most of the Lance, and that might be where this downfall is coming, because Bamya has been very comfortable into the Lance here as he just dives off stage, finds the down air, spiking Saphir down, and another large lead here on this first stock.
I'm just tense and excited at the same time, because this entire tournament has been leaning up to this. Like, I'm always a big fan of resets, because even I mean, production, obviously they gotta sit here for longer. Sorry, Space. But like Space mentioned this earlier, Bamya is going ham. Do you think Bamya was holding back before the reset? Like, he was just saving up energy?
Dude, yeah, with that game 5, I thought Bamya was actually getting shaken. Like, I thought the Zol was him saying, "Okay, I'm taking it seriously now." And then when he lost on Zol, I was like, "Wait, maybe the win is real." But so far, it's not looking good for Saphir as Bamya is over a full stock up. And looking.
Here's my thought process if I was Bamya. Oh my, that end light.
Oh, that was devious. But speaking of you know what? Go down with the ship. A good captain goes down with the ship. If you think you've already lost and you can go down like that, take him with you. Sure, go for it. Absolutely go for it. My speed dog.
I think you try to chase dodge, but if you're in the wrong, like, it only works forwards, up, and down. You can't chase dodge back.
Yeah, chase dodge was lost in translation and in-game chat, so he said "my speed dodge?" ? And that got me for some reason. But yeah. So judging by that message, we can see that Saphir was looking to try to get a chase dodge off that down air. Didn't manage to find it, but that is going to mean that Bamya is one game away from winning this whole tournament.
So here's my thesis on Bamya's mindset. He was holding back before the reset. Like, this is full power Bamya. This is like Giga Chat 100% Gear 5 Super Saiyan.
Okay, bro.
I had to allow it. But Bamya was holding back because he was not only saving up energy, but he was making Saphir confident. In making Saphir confident, they are trying to bait out getting to see Saphir at full potential, at like their maximum strengths.
Who is Bamya? Like, what? This is insane. Considering the fact that going into this, right, stats-wise, these players are 4 apart, but the highest PR, and I guess by technicality on how the numbers work, the lowest, is Bamya at 27. But Bamya is playing like someone who could win EU seasonals with how he's playing today specifically. So I mean, if
to be fair, he went through a lot of known EU pros to get here, so he might as well.
I mean, he 3-0'd
seasonal
Skeldra.
soon. Let's be real.
He 3-0'd PR7 Europe. Like that is no small feat. Saphir just forced to try to fight back, manages to bring Bamya into the red, but gets just. I mean, there were like 2 frames of him flying away, and like he was so low and so damaged that that side air was just. That was like that meme that's like. Coughing baby versus atomic bomb.
Oh my god. Saphir's not go. Okay, there we go. I was a little bit confused on why would you go for side like Nair there if Bamya's already that damaged, then just let DC rip. What is this dude? They're just just staring at each other.
This is European neutral right here. This is the peak of European gameplay.
This is ex-EU, by the way. Only in EU.
Yeah, I mean, this is the closest we've seen so far by Saphir. Is keeping up decently. Okay, the tournament match buff is coming through here for Saphir. Does actually have a small lead here on Bamya, but Bamya is just so exuding this confidence. And the D-Light Nair is actually going to be enough. Despite the high ceiling of Demon Island, the strength of Zol is going to more than make up for it here. And regardless of the work that Saphir put in, Bamya is going to shut it down. And now Saphir on tournament stock. And if Saphir wants to win this whole tournament, not only does he have to win this game, he's got to win 2 more after this one. And Bamya is just having none of it.
Ooh, Tranquil Weapon Starve still gets the X. Doesn't go for a juggle, he's just holding stage. Gets hit by D-Light. Into side light, no follow-up, and light puts him off stage. It's back with the Sarah. Next Sarah will take out Bamya, but he still needs to take out another stock after.
Yeah, he needs to play a perfect game here, needs an absolutely flawless performance. And the axe is definitely the weapon he can take Bamya out with as the neutral light comes through. The weapon throw as well. Saphir stemming the bleeding for the time being, but against a legend like Zol, he may not be long for this world. As Bamya just positioning, trying to find the exact moment to strike. Neutral's going to give him the stage control.
And light.
One side air, the neutral light again, and that's going to do it. Bamya closes it out. 3-0 in Grand Finals reset and secures his place as a Galaxy Cup champion here at Galaxy Cup Subzero.